I wanted to come on here and talk about fear. This is something that I got downloaded or channeled through. But just a side note, if you hear something in the background, that's my heater. It's really cold today. So I want to share with you how you can navigate releasing the fear, because I feel like I'm sensing there's so much fear going on at the moment. But before I do, I want to share with you something I experienced, just a story that an experience I went through in childhood that was very related to the fear that I used to experience. So when I was younger, I'd say probably like age, I don't know, maybe 10. It happened for years. I would say almost 10 years maybe, where I would experience the same reoccurring nightmare, like over and over and over again. And it was like, I would say there were probably about three different nightmares, dreams that were this similar. But it was usually like I was in the corner of a dark room, and this like dark shadow figure would come up to me, and I would be trapped and I couldn't do anything about it, and I would be so terrified, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night completely scared out of my brains. And that was the same type of dream. And then it would alter slightly, where I'd be chased, or there were multiple figures in the room type of thing, you know what I mean? But it was the same concept, and it was always the same type of nightmare. But that one in the room, that was the one that I kept experiencing over and over again. I remember it clear as day. And I remember, so that happened for years. I couldn't even sleep in my own room because I was terrified. This was when I was younger, around age 10, I would say, around that, to 15 or 16. I was in my teenage years still experiencing the same nightmares, and I was absolutely terrified. I was so scared. And then, I would also, throughout my 20s, I would experience night terrors, or is that what you call them, where you feel like there is a shadow or an entity hovering over the top of you, and you can't move. I've had many experiences like that before in my dreams, and that scared the absolute shit out of me. But what I realized with these dreams was that, so I came across a video after the last terror that I had. It's all to do with fear. So when I had the last one, which was absolutely terrifying, because it was someone that I loved so dearly at the time, and then they shapeshift, and I was like, nope, I can't deal with this. That's the last straw. So I went up online, Googled, and this lady talked about, I can't remember, I think her name's Lee or Alexander. She talked about how, pretty much how they feed off fear. And I had a lot of fear going on at that time. And whether you want to believe it's the entity, or if it's just your own fear, that's not really the purpose. The whole purpose is the whole idea that I got off this girl. She was when you give them love, or when you are more tapped into your heart space, they cannot affect you. And I just remember when I started going to bed and I had this, they were still there, and I would just give them love. And then some dreams I would try to hug them and I'd also tell myself this isn't real. So I'd be this isn't real, they're not scary, it's all in my head. And then I would just want to give them a hug. I want to give them love. And from that experience, I never had those dreams ever again. Those nightmares that I had for about 10 years disappeared. Never had a night terror since. And I can confidently say that the fear that I used to experience has dissipated a lot, because it's non-existent, but I replaced it with love. And I think the purpose of me explaining that is that the whole reason I think why we're operating in this headspace of fear. I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that. It's all illusionary. It's false appearing. Someone said that it's false. I don't know, if you remember what it is, let me know in the comments. But it's all false appearing to be real. So when we're operating in a constant state of fear, we're stuck in our mind, and we have believed that there's like a power outside of ourselves, or we have completely disconnected from our power. And so with that dream and like that whole experience, I was so afraid. I was so anxious. Like I will never forget that time in my life. I was a very anxious person, and it really just made this experience on earth really fucking hard for me. But I was very afraid because of the, you know, trauma, and I was very afraid of ghosts and spirits and things like that. Like I was very afraid of the dark. There was years where I slept with the light on, or I slept with the TV on, and I had to sleep with sound because I was so afraid. And obviously, like, that's what fear, you know, that's what it was feeding on, was the fear. But then when I realized, like, the fear that I was experiencing was fake or false, it was an illusion, and all I needed to do was tap into my heart and literally illuminate love, those nightmares disappeared. Like, I would experience those, you can call them entities or shadows. Like, I can talk about this in a whole nother subject, because this is fascinating, which they're just spirits. But when they would come into my dreams, I would be like, I love you, like, I'm not afraid of you anymore. And they would usually run away, right? Because they feel fear. But again, even that whole concept, there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, even I see a spirit now, because I used to have dreams. I used to live and work out of a hotel, and because the hotel was near a hospital, often there was a lot of spirits, and I always woke up and felt these spirits. Like, I always woke up and felt these spirits, and I knew something was there, and my partner at the time, dead asleep, like, didn't notice anything, but I felt it. And I love this girl that I was really close with at the time. She's very spiritual. She could read the energy and things like that, and she confirmed that for me, which I was like, thank God, because I'm not going crazy. And I used to hear things in my hotel room used to move, and like, that used to be really scary for me. And so I used to always be so afraid of spirits and, you know, the dark and things like that. And now, like, if I see a spirit, or if I feel a spirit, and I have since, and I just, you know, love, I give them love, I radiate love. And it's because I realize it's harmless, right? There's nothing to fear. The dark is nothing to fear. And this is like me having the same recurring nightmare every single night as a kid and a teenager, being terrified of dark spirits, of shadows, of shadow figures, of the dark, like, and there's just it's all created in your head. And so what I wanted to share is that maybe that story is like got nothing to do with what you're experiencing, but where are you experiencing fear in your life? Because I'm tuned in with the energy, and there's so much fear going on. Like, even just fear around things that you may not even be aware that you fear those things. I'll give you an example: ChatGPT or AI. So you just thinking, you having that idea that AI is going to take over the world, or that ChatGPT is a bad thing, is creating that negative energy, that fear. It's instilling fear, and whatever you focus on grows, it expands. So that in itself, like, I'm not afraid of ChatGPT. I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not. If I'm ever thinking of something where I'm in fear of, then that's my own limitations that I'm putting upon myself. And I think that's a whole purpose of being here on human earth as a collective, is that we're We are here to dissolve the fear. So many of us are operating in fear, and then when we're living in fear, we're creating or we're taking action from that fear. That's fear-based, that's limiting, that's in survival. And I used to be this way for most of my life. Even take, for example, money, relationships, it was all fear-based. I was stuck in survival. I was terrified that the worst case scenario would happen. Usually it wouldn't, but in some cases it did, because I created that for myself and it manifested. So where in your life are you living in fear? And it could even just be your beliefs. It could be about a relationship or a person. It could be about money. It could be over something that you're just unconsciously repeating in your mind, certain patterns or thought patterns or behaviors that are going on internally that you keep reminiscing over unconsciously, that maybe you're not even aware of. That is fear-based. That is limiting you. Fear is an illusion. It is absolutely illusion. It is an illusion. Now, the purpose isn't to get rid of it, because fear will never go away. But it is to look at the fear and look at that as an opportunity of where can I dissolve or grow or evolve an aspect of me that is feeding into this fear. That's really all it's. And how to do this is through the heart, is through love, is through connecting in your heart. Fear is in the mind's heart, and love is in the heart. So whenever you're needing to make a decision, or whenever you're worried about something, are you connected in your mind, or are you tapped into your heart? We need more people operating from our heart. When we're operating from our heart, we're not in our ego. And there's literally nothing to be afraid of. I'm in a Discord group for 12th house people, the spiritual people, and someone asked about night terrors, which is kind of what made me want to talk about it. And it was fear. It's always fear. Fear is driving, people. You being afraid of something, I don't think you being afraid of something, okay, let me try to explain this. You are so fucking powerful. You are so powerful. You are incredibly powerful. And the moment you feed into a fear-based thought or an idea, you're giving your power, all of your life force power away to this thing. That's how powerful you are. And when you think of social media, or you think of the news of what's going on, or you think of ChatGPT and electronics and things like that, and you hear nothing but fear. It's a form of control. It's a form of control to get you to step out of your power, to give your power away and your control away to someone or something outside of you. And that's how people, the lower dimensional people, are doing it. That's how easily you're giving your own life force away. But when you get rid of all the distractions for a second, and you connect into your heart for about 5-10 minutes, immediately you're taking all of that power and that life force energy back to where it belongs. And there is absolutely nothing to fear. There's literally nothing to fear. Again, it's made up. You're thinking of something that may happen that most likely will never actually happen. And the thing is, if it ever does happen, the build up to the thing is always worse off than the actual thing happening. The fear that you have around, let's say, being abandoned, you're scared of someone abandoning you. It's the build up and the fear around that could potentially happen that's driving more of your energy, that has more of that hold on you, than the actual event of someone leaving you, of you experiencing the abandonment. So it's you giving all of your energy and your life force towards certain things that don't even exist, that are you giving your power away. So to do this and to take our power back and to operate the opposite of fear, which is love, is essentially through your heart. And it's a matter of just tapping into your heart and connecting to that sacred heart, which is the source and the direct connection with your soul, which is who you really are. Does this make sense? So let me know if this lands with you. Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, you can. We can dive deep into what is the fear that you have been creating within you, and make sure that you're continuously tapping into your heart. Throughout your day, continuously tap into your heart. Remind yourself, set an alarm every hour. Tap into your heart, 5 minutes a day. And that'll help break the cycle.